have a special guest today on Primetime Local News. Stephanie Costigan is here. Stephanie is an author. Thank you for joining me today.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Well, Stephanie, we want to talk about your latest book, which is called A Stony Gaze. Now, this is a children's book. Is that correct?
It is correct, yes.
Tell me a little bit about the book itself.
Well, A Stony Gaze is a twist on Medusa, where things aren't as they seem, where I took the mythology, kind of researched it, and realized she's not exactly the bad guy that we're painted to kind of see. So I created a story about that and incorporated mob mentality and group polarization and how easy it occurs and how things can escalate within I guess, a group setting. It just takes one person with more of a fanatic belief to get a whole crowd going.
So, the message in this book basically surrounds anti bullying, then?
Yes, anti-bullying, the harms that like helping people to recognize the harms that can come from gossiping, bullying, how things can escalate and how things are not always what you're told or what they seem. And it's best to kind of go straight to the source to find the truth.
Is there a particular age that this is targeted as or targeted for?
Yeah, ages 5 to 12 is my target audience. And that's I think with the research of psychology, my sister's actually a psychologist. She finished her master's and now she's going even further into being an art therapist and play therapist. So she shares quite a lot with me. Um, so those ages are when children are developing and learning a lot of social cues and when they're most vulnerable also to group polarization.
So, why did you decide you wanted to write a children's book this time, Stephanie?
I've always wanted to write children's book. Just even before we came on this interview, I'm working on another one. Um, but the reason I chose this topic is I actually developed it a couple of years ago. And it's just recently I decided that I would publish it. But I developed this topic during COVID, actually, when there was a lot of misunderstandings and a lot of group polarization happening, especially over social media, and a lot of panic as well. So I developed this story to kind of I guess, highlight some things and teach the children, because I feel, uh, at least from the whole COVID situation, I feel a lot of people uh, easily got divided and became different groups of group polarization. I'm like, well, we should probably teach the kids that, especially with all the technology we have now and all the communication online, things can be very misstrued very easily. So with the power of technology, we should also be giving children the tools they need to mentally be able to decipher.
Now, one of the things, Stephanie, that you said you are very open about is the fact that you have dyslexia, and you've written a couple of books now. So, tell me how you overcame that and decided to get into writing.
Oh, definitely. So dyslexia is a thing. It's a lifelong thing. I can't exactly, get rid of it. I wish. But yeah, I grew up with it and I've always even though it's been a weakness, I've always had a great passion and desire for storytelling. And I think that's where my writing developed. Of course, like my early days of writing, no one can hardly make out what I've written because the spelling and stuff was so bad. But as time has progressed, they're starting to learn more about dyslexia. When I was a child, we hardly knew anything about dyslexia. People thought I actually got in quite a bit of trouble from the teachers because they thought I was just being funny, but I really just could not read. Like the words, I couldn't, my dyslexia was really and reading and writing impairment was getting in the way of that. Um, but as time has progressed, there are tools that I use to help me because I do journalism as well, so I do writing for a living. So a lot of practice has really helped me using tools that I use, such as dyslexic font. I have a reader on my laptop that reads things out loud for me. I use Siri all the time. I get in arguments with Siri how to spell things. But, yeah, just using certain tools helps me. I'm definitely a slower writer than your normal writer, but I work hard to make sure that it gets done correctly.
Well, Stephanie, that is an amazing story in itself, too. And I want to thank you so much for joining me today and talking about not only the book, but the fact that you can show that if you have dyslexia, it doesn't mean that you have to stop your writing dreams, because a lot of people do want to, be writers and authors somehow. And I know that when looking at the book that you did for the children's book now, it looks like just an incredible story, and you've put so much work into it. And I just would like you to let people know once again, the name of the book and where they can purchase it.
Definitely. The name of the book is A Stony Gaze. They can get it on Amazon or Ingram Sparks. I'm hoping to expand it even further soon. But yeah, right now, because it's just gotten out, is Amazon, Ingram Sparks, and you can even visit my website, which is www.landofthedragon.ca.
Thanks again, Stephanie, for joining me. I really appreciate it. And let's chat again when your next book comes out.
Definitely. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.